What the world? What is that? Oh, that's incredible.
From recording the strange encounter with a rather odd creature to what may prove to be one of the most compelling pieces of evidence when it comes to one of the most legendary cryptids ever, here is the clearest Bigfoot footage that had ever been caught on camera. For as long as we can all remember, we have had to contend with the never-ending legend of the fabled cryptid that is Bigfoot. For so long, there have been rumors of this supposed huge hairy humanoid creature lurking within one of the many woods, forests, and brushes found in the continent of North America, despite the fact that we are not sure that the creature really exists. In fact, all we seem to have as proof that this so-called giant creature is lurking in these woods is either some dubious first-hand account of an encounter with the creature, blurry videos or pictures or footprints castings that may be questionable at best. Regardless of this, there are many that claim that they have run into Bigfoot while they were out in the wild camping. Thankfully, the advent of modern technology has also made it possible for us to replace the blurry videos and images with some of the clearest footage of encounters with this strange creature. Let's take a look at some of the clearest footage of Bigfoot ever. Unknown. Animal or Bigfoot? Let's start off with this strange encounter that this man had while just enjoying the beauty of nature as he made his way around the woods nearby on the 5th of July, 2023. While he was making the most of his time in the splendor of nature, he would experience a jarring encounter with a strange creature that he would come across in the wild. The man was so taken aback by what he saw that he initially believed that the creature was a bear. Once he overcame the shocking nature of the moment, he eventually realized that this was no bear, not at all. Luckily, our man was able to whip his camera out so that he could record this strange creature that was standing in front of him. Although we were able to get the recording of the creature for a moment or two, this footage would not last for long because it soon noticed that it was being recorded. Proving itself to be camera shy and not ready for the limelight, it ran off and hid, never to be seen again. All the man was left with was images of the tall, hairy creature making its way around the woods. He could never forget the wide 8 to 9 foot hairy, wide-shouldered creature. Thankfully, he had the footage with him to prove that he may have actually had an encounter with the legendary Bigfoot. With that in mind, he decided to upload the footage of the creature on social media. Undoubtedly, the skeptics arrived in droves, protesting that they were sure that this was just another man in a suit trying to pull some elaborate hoax. Alas, as they had no reasonable explanation as to why the creature was taller than any human they've ever seen, they didn't sound so convincing. Just look at the size of the creature compared to the trees in the footage with it. No way you can tell us here that this is human. No, we must be forced to think hard about if this is really Bigfoot or not. There is every chance that this could finally be real footage of the legendary cryptid that is Bigfoot. Bigfoot headshot. One of the clearest recordings ever captured when it comes to the legendary Bigfoot. You'd find that this is a fantastic video because this helped us get a glimpse of the creature's face. This is undoubtedly invaluable data when it comes to identifying the creature, which in turn will compel many to finally believe that the creature is real. Don't take our word for it, just take a look at it. The dedicated Bigfoot encrypted researcher must have been really proud of the photo, especially as it appears that he had dedicated much of his life to finding this creature so that he could film them. He was so dedicated to his cause that he traveled the world so that he could visit some of the most prominent Sasquatch hotspots on the entire planet. As such, he must have been beaming with pride when he took what could only be described as some of the best footage of all time when it comes to the evidence used to prove that Bigfoot is real. Again, when you look at the footage, all you can see is how real the facial features look. Add the fact that it also seems to act like a Bigfoot in that it tries to evade the camera once it realizes that it was being recorded, and you'd find that you can't take people who claim that this is a hoax seriously. All you can do is add it to the catalog of some of the most convincing recordings that prove that Bigfoot is real. Raging Bigfoot. Let's see what we have over here, shall we? This time, we're taking a look at footage that was taken by a trail camera that was set on a tree close to a crime scene that occurred in the woods. Although we do not know much about the crime that may have been committed, all we do know was that the crime scene was located many miles in the woods. Hoping to get some more important evidence that could help them solve the crime and bring justice to the affected victims and their families, the authorities set up a trail cam to monitor the events that may occur in the woods in their absence. Rather than getting more evidence of the crime, they would end up getting a footage that may prove that Bigfoot is real. Just look at that. We hope that we can all see the huge hairy creature in the footage. Look how powerful it is as it tears those tree limbs apart with its bare hands. Clearly enraged at something, its tantrum causes it to wreak havoc while tearing at all the nearby trees. Considering how strong you would have to be to do this, there aren't too many people that have strong arguments against this being Bigfoot. As such, you may find that this is one of the most compelling pieces of evidence that suggests that Bigfoot is real. Add the fact that this tantrum is believed to be the atypical behavior of Bigfoot, especially when it is upset, and you'd find that there is some credence to the claim that this really is Bigfoot. Sure, there are some that still voice their doubts by claiming that this must have been a man in a Bigfoot suit of some sort, but let's see how many of their buddies can uproot trees like that in a Bigfoot suit. Vancouver Bigfoot. We move over to Canada, where we found that someone may have picked up some of the most compelling evidence that Bigfoot is real. While this couple were in Port Renfrew, a small town that was located in Vancouver, British Columbia, the couple would have one of the most unusual encounters ever had. The man and the couple claimed that as they were exploring the town, they found a spot that was so enchanting, they had to take a moment or two to appreciate it. They just fell in love with the streams and rivers flowing through the lush green bushes in the scene, and as such, they wanted to enjoy the moment for as long as it lasted. Taken by the beauty of the scene, Wendy, the wife of the couple, proposed that they take a hike by one of the streams in the area. As a result, they parked their car by the side and set off on their hike, even able to go across the stream due to how low the water levels were. Once they made it across, the pair were excited to find that they had come across a deer trail. Hoping to take a peek at these gentle creatures, the couple decided to follow the trail. Ever the adventurers, they didn't seem to mind that it was taking them into the deeper parts of the forest. This didn't seem to be a problem initially. After all, they actually got their feel of some of the deeper parts of the forest before making their way back. However, as they did make their way back, they realized that they could hear some branches as they were breaking. This caused them to notice that there were some movements in the trees behind them. Holding their breaths, they clung to the hope that this was maybe one of the deer when they followed that trail. Instead, all they would find is this strange creature lurking within the trees in the woods. As you can all imagine, this was a frightening scene for the couple. After spotting the creature first, Wendy got her husband to make sure that he was quiet as she pointed out the hairy, massive creature that was standing about 200 feet away from them. With its reddish fur, its imposing size and broad shoulders, you couldn't blame the couple if their hearts were in their mouths. Fortunately, it seemed to be happy enough to just hide away from them in the bushes. Thinking back, it appeared as though the couple was convinced that they may have been approached by a bear. After all, it wasn't too unusual to run into a bear in the woods. However, there is no ignoring the fact that it didn't seem to share many features with a bear other than its hulking size. For example, there is the fact that the creature seemed to have a cone-shaped head. We've all seen bears, and we can tell you that bears do not have cone-shaped heads. Then there is the report from the couple, which claimed that as they got closer to the strange creature, they realized that it seemed to have a musty smell. Gross. As you can imagine, the couple eventually came to the conclusion that he must have been the legendary Bigfoot. As you could probably tell as well, there were many others who agreed with them. That's not saying that the couple did not have their fair share of doubters, but in the face of the evidence before them, they just couldn't shake off the feeling that they had an encounter with the legendary cryptid that is Bigfoot. What do you guys think? Was that a bear or was that Bigfoot? Please let us know in the comment section. British Columbia Bigfoot. Next up, we're still in British Columbia, where a man by the name of Harley Hoffman just so happened to have his own harrowing encounter with the legendary hairy giant.
It's absolutely real. I'm telling you, apply the same scientific principles that they espouse to that film and tell me it isn't real.
In the footage that he claimed to record of the creature that he had this encounter with, we can see what looks to be a creature that matches the description of Bigfoot walking through the woods. Large, hairy, and broad-shouldered. The only thing that we can say is that this must be Bigfoot, or something that may be as close to its description as is feasibly possible. What do you guys think? Could that really be Bigfoot? Please let us know what you think in the comment section. Hunter Bigfoot. Let's take a look at this video that was uploaded on the internet towards the end of 2023. Another trail cam footage. This time, we'd find that the trail cam was set up by some hunters who just wanted to monitor the woods nearby. Eager to learn about the sort of wildlife that was lurking in their woods, they would get way more than they bargained for when their camera picked up the footage of this strange creature in the middle of the night. When the hunters took a look at the footage that was recorded by their trail cam, they would watch in shock and awe as at exactly 10:26 p.m. one fateful night, the trail cam recorded the footage of what appeared to be an armed policeman stalking through the woods. Strange, right? What's an armed policeman or this armed officer doing in the middle of the night? What's even stranger is that exactly 3 minutes later, at 10:29 p.m., a strange, massive creature is seen lurking in the dark. Truly shocking scene. Once the hunters were able to get over the shocking nature of the footage they were watching, they noticed how huge this hairy bipedal creature was as it slowly made its way through the darkness in the night. It is believed to be so massive, it could have been anything between 8 to 10 feet. Looking at the footage now, there are many that have also speculated that the creature may have been stalking the officer. Perhaps more importantly to the Bigfoot enthusiasts out there, many were also convinced that the creature must have been the legendary Bigfoot. Sure, some people came out to claim that this must have been a prank or a hoax, but there's just no way to explain why the creature was tall unlike any other humans that exist. Whatever the case may be, we cannot argue that this is good evidence towards proving that Bigfoot must be real. New York Bigfoot. Next up, we head over to the woods of Hudson Valley, New York, where some observers were able to get 2 photos of what seemed to be a young Bigfoot making its way through some of the remote parts of said woods. Although it was taken a while back in 2022, these photos have just gone viral. And as such, there are many who are eager to know the circumstances in which the photos were taken. Looking at the photos, some of the experts attempted to study the legendary creature. Looking at the first, they figured that it was smaller than a regular Bigfoot. Despite this, it seemed to share many other features with the legendary creature, so these experts speculate that this could possibly be a young Bigfoot. As fascinating as the first photo was, the same experts couldn't help but stare in wonder at the second one. This was because they could see all the details of the young Bigfoot, which undoubtedly gave them more information about the body structure of such a creature. Adding the fact that this is a zoomed-in photo of the baby Bigfoot, you'd find that this seemed to be quite invaluable to the experts. Although the doubters do have their opinion about the authenticity of the photo, they must remember that there are flaws in their argument that this isn't Bigfoot, especially as there are no primates or other similar-looking creatures in the woods or forests in New York. As such, maybe this isn't a man in a suit pulling a prank. Maybe this was really the legendary Bigfoot. Drone Bigfoot. Looking through the lens of the drone that he was maneuvering as he tried to get some great footage of the wildlife around him, this man just happened to capture the footage of a strange figure making its way through the forest nearby. Looking at it making its way through the woods, the man was convinced that he may have captured some of the most compelling pieces of evidence when it comes to the existence of the legendary cryptid named Bigfoot. Just look at it.
What the world? What is that? Oh, that's incredible.
It seemed to fit all the criteria of Bigfoot, at least what you'd consider Bigfoot to like from an aerial view. Tall beyond human dimensions, broad-shouldered, hairy, and bipedal, there was little doubt that he may have been Bigfoot. Understandably, the doubts still sprouted out from the cracks. This was especially the case with some doubters who insisted that this must have been a gorilla. Unfortunately, that is not convincing at all because when you watch the footage in the video, anyone will realize that there is no gorilla on Earth that walks like that. Most gorillas aren't solely bipedal to begin with. Let's also consider the fact that the footage was recorded in the US. For the lovers of nature and wildlife watching the video, we're sure that you'd know that there are no wild primates in America, at least not gorillas. With that in mind, we may have to blur out the noise being made by the doubters so that we can accept that this may be one of the clearest videos of Bigfoot. Close-up footage of Bigfoot. Next up, we take a look at what could be the closest encounter with Bigfoot that had ever been recorded on camera. Watching this gigantic hairy creature as it stomped around in the forest, the couple that was recording it could not be faulted if they were frightened out of their minds by what they just saw. Although we may not be able to say much about where the footage was recorded, there are many that saw the tall creature with its reddish-brown hair and its broad shoulders who were convinced that this must have been Bigfoot. Despite this, the usual suspects came up, and before long there were doubters who were eager to claim that this close-up encounter with Bigfoot didn't matter at all because they believed that this was just some man in a Bigfoot suit. Alas, those who believed in what they saw would not allow these people to dismiss what may be clear evidence of the existence of the legendary Bigfoot. They saw how huge the creature was and how muscular it was. They will not be deceived. To them, this is irrefutable evidence that Bigfoot is real. Clearest Bigfoot. Many Bigfoot enthusiasts will be excited about this footage because this is indeed one of the clearest footage of Bigfoot in existence today. For too long, those attempting to prove that Bigfoot is real have scoffed at the unclear footage that have been presented by those who claimed that they had an encounter with Bigfoot, or those who claimed that they had recorded the creature out in the wild, only to turn up with some of the grainiest videos you have ever seen. Some of them are even worse than the CCTV ones that they use to search for crime suspects. Either way, this video was made public back in 2021 and is supposed to have been recorded deep within one of the most remote woods in the state of Idaho. Although we have never gotten the exact location of the site of this sighting, you'd find that the clarity of the video makes up for the lack of information in respect of the whereabouts of this creature. This allowed the experts in this field to take a look at the creature in order to ascertain if this was really Bigfoot. Looking at the dimension of the arms and legs of the creature, as well as the strange curved shape of its hands and wrists as it walks around in the forest, you could see that it was quite a unique creature. Let's also not forget about the muscle definition found in its arms and legs. With this confirmation that it is indeed a real creature, many were able to turn their attention away from those who claimed that he must have been a man in a costume. Looking at it with your bare eyes, you are forced to wonder about what these people may be talking about, because you can see the muscles contracting and reacting as the creature walks around in the forest. Add the fact that it was way taller to the point that it was believed to be about 8 feet tall and also wider and hairier than anyone walking this earth. We may be compelled to agree that this could possibly be one of the clearest footage of Bigfoot in existence today. From recording the strange encounter with a rather odd creature while making their way through the woods to what may prove to be one of the most compelling pieces of evidence when it comes to one of the most legendary cryptids ever, here is the clearest Bigfoot footage that had ever been caught on camera.